Hello and welcome to the Performance Racing League. You are joined here today at Abu Dhabi for the Tier 1 Round 4 feature event. And you will now see that the cars are beginning to crawl out onto the racetrack for the first part of qualifying. In fact, the only qualifying session, a simple 17-minute short quali session. It's good to have everyone back, and I hope you've enjoyed PRL over the last few weeks. So let's get everything set up as we see Mr. Hex leaving the pit lane. But we have quite a few cars out very early today. Right, let's go ahead and find our first hot lap runner. I think they might be in a blue car of some sort. Might be the first one. No, I take it back. It's going to be the Merc. So let's follow Bart. It's good to have him back as he makes his way around this now quite infamous section of Sector 3. You'll remember a certain Williams driver may well have dropped it right there into that side barrier and very much changed the outcome of the championship inadvertently. But let's ride on board with Bart and he can show us what he's got. Such a fun section of track. You really can carry full throttle through there. So much aerodynamic downforce generated by these modern F1 cars. Activates that DRS, that drag reduction system, as he makes his way down the longest straight, probably the best overtaking opportunity around this track. There are quite a few though. It's a very, very well designed track. Then into this very difficult chicane section, there's a couple of different lines you can take, and again, if you mess up your overtake on that first entry point, you can find you get yourself re-overtaken down this second DRS zone. And then actually quite a difficult braking point now. And this is the modified section of the track since I think last season, so it's slightly easier, but I always find actually getting the correct line there is a little bit awkward. You've got a weird curb in the middle, and you have to carry quite a lot of speed, more than you think you can. But Bart being very careful through this section, but actually doing very well there, being quite aggressive on the curbs, almost drops it at the exit. Keeps it together though, a little bit of oversteer, and really smacks it into that final right-hander. Rides over that curb, straightens out the car, and he gets a 123.392 as his reward, and is immediately beaten by Jesper. Only just though, by a tenth. So we'll see a lot of the times now trickling in. So you've got GK Bass, who did fantastically well last season and all the way through. Sets provisionally the best time so far, as Timgra is unfortunately retired for facing the wrong way. Probably something really unfortunate to do with spinning out and then reversing to let cars through, and the game's decided that that's worthy of a disqualification. It's such a shame. It happens quite often. So Rusty with a 125. And let's follow Robsy then on his hot lap. A lot of action here, a lot of early activity. Just going to send a link to the Discord regarding the stream. I'm just reading the Discord. Timger is not happy with his disqualification, and you can understand why. It seemed very unfair. As we see a height scram potentially on a hot lap with the Mercedes having to get out of the way, and he's got a very fast Ferrari behind him, which is slightly worrying. Oh dear. Oh dear. Was that a hot lap blocker? We'll see what Bronco does here. I think he might be pitting anyway. I think he was just going into the pits faster than the other driver, so I think that will all sort itself out quite nicely. Right, Demur is not on a hot lap. Femi definitely is on a hot lap though. Let's follow him in the Red Bull. Hey Aiden, nice to have you back. How have you been? Oof. Close to track limits, but a good lap from Femi to be fair. 124.2. You can definitely build on that one. And don't forget, that was on the medium tyre. So definitely don't read into that too much. That was a good lap. Robsu now on his second hot lap of this set of tyres. I think he was actually down in Sector 1, but must have messed up because it showed us 1.5 down. GP Colin, I don't know who you are, but it's lovely to have you on board. Welcome to PRL. And I hope that, yeah, you enjoy yourself here. Obviously, ask any questions if you've got any. PRL is the Performance Racing League, sorry. We have 2 tiers. This is Tier 1, which is the fastest, highest level tier. And we're just in qualifying now for round 4 at Abu Dhabi. Robson aborts his attempted second hot lap, goes straight to the pits. Ramsey, on the other hand, though, looking very nice, pretty much matching his Sector 1 time. And really, really lovely through that chicane there. Nice and balanced, but aggressive on that curb on the exit. No worries, Aiden. I hope your race goes very well, but it's good to have you anyway. Very, very narrow from Ramsey. But to be fair, he keeps that traction. I really struggle with that line. We see a slight yellow flag in Sector 1, I think, just for cars slowing down. Ramsey definitely carrying a lot of speed. It looks good, but will it be enough? The answer is he's going in the pit. So we do now have 3 of the 4 fastest drivers so far on an outlap on their second set of tyres. So we've got GK Bass, Moist Fish, and then a very tyre temperature wary Victor. And I think we have Ace potentially on a hot lap. Let's not forget him. Oh no, he's invalidated. Well, we didn't forget. And we do have Cher as well approaching his fast lap. So we'll keep an eye on those drivers as well. We want to sort of evenly distribute it across the field. But I think let's go to GK Bass because, you know what, not only is he currently in provisional pole, but he's had a very good season so far. And he's a very good example of how to put in a hot lap. 1/10 down at the moment, but not the end of the world, but certainly not what he'd want. Little snap of oversteer on the exit onto the main straight is not what you want, because that harms you all the way down the straight. Seems to have an Alpine that's quite hungry, but they're on an outlap, so I'm sure they'll back off. I'd like to hope so. So a bit narrower from GK Bass as opposed to Ramsey, who ran right over that exit curb. Let's see how his Sector 2 is looking though. About the same. So he's got it all to do in Sector 3. But you know what? If this corner's anything to go by, that is looking very good through there. Very fast. Very aggressive over that curve. Slightly narrows the line here, but then it helps in a way because you slingshot through these left-handers. So close to track limits. Had to lift a little bit to avoid the track limits invalidation. And I think for that reason, I think there was no chance of gaining 2 temps. So he has aborted. But he's got 8 minutes, so that's plenty of time to go back in, refuel, put a new set of tyres on and try again. We've got Morris JM on a hot lap, but I'm actually going to follow... I'm going to follow Rusty. I think he's on a hot lap. Yep, and sets a 1:23.657. Just caught that in time. But let's also follow Victor. He's now going through Sector 3. Oh, so on the edge there. Very difficult 2 corners. Slightly misses the apex, but carries a decent amount of speed. And he gets a 1:22.241. Fantastic lap, with perhaps a little bit of room for improvement. We've got Morris as well now going into Sector 2, and he is looking very rapid. Has been all season, and is currently setting his fastest times of the session. Look at that. Right on the limit of the track limits there, kissing the barrier almost. Okay, Colin, yeah, nice to meet you. I don't race mid-tier. I actually race in tier 2, so you won't see me around on the midweek. But yeah, it's great to have you on board, and I suppose if you're ever available, I'm sure there'll be opportunities for you in one of these 2 tiers on the Sundays. Morris really dancing with the car there, fighting with the car, but carrying a lot of speed, that's the main thing. Doesn't have to necessarily look clean. Oof, massive kick, really on the edge at a 122, 173. And provisional pole is his reward. That was a very, very good lap there. Really tried to push the car to its limit. And you've got different driving styles, right? Some people, their fastest laps always look the smoothest, the slickest. You think sort of Jensen Buttons and so on. You've got others where when they're aggressive on the edge, dancing around, that's when they're at their fastest. So let's take a little look then with about 5-6 minutes to go in the session. We've got Morris currently leading. JR Victor hot on his heels as he boxes for his final set of tyres and what will be his final stint in qualifying. GK Bass already out trying to get back and reclaim his pole position. Royce Fish, always fast, had quite a disappointing season, not really by his fault, just I think it could only really get better from here, and he's just cruising it in with a bit of a fuel issue, I would say. So he should have time to box and fix himself. And then over to Gordsource, who's actually on quite an early hot lap. So he might be looking to do one hot lap, box, and maybe get out, but I don't know. Time-wise, that is very tight. I think it's possible, though. He has invalidated, though, I should note that, so that lap will not count. Bronco crosses the line with a 122.9 as well, so that's good. Really pushing very hard this season is Bronco. Doing very well. PRL used to have 3 tiers, and the 3 tiers were merged into 2. Bronco was originally the middle tier, so the fact he's putting in these lap times in a sort of merged tier is very impressive, because there are some real quick drivers here. Yeah, I think the top 4 you are seeing are the ones I've been most impressed by this season. Morris, Victor, Bass, Moist, perhaps in that order, in fact. Maybe GK Bass up there. But yeah, some really good drivers. Ramsey, when he is able to race, always does well. One to watch. Can always surprise. And actually, Jesper and Gordsource, who came from the original tier 1 to the middle tier, that's now the top tier, he has done very well. They've both done very well. They've really pushed themselves. I mean, Gordsource absolutely did a great job in tier 1 last season, was unlucky not to win. Lost out by a few points to Jesper. But Gordsource, early days, but appears to have pushed on slightly more than Jesper. Appears to have slightly more pace right now. Right, let's follow Bart then. He is currently on an improved hot lap. I'm just noting that the 4 bottom drivers, they're still in the pits, so I do expect them to come out within the next minute. Especially Ace in 18th, yet to set a time. Perhaps saving a set of tyres. Or 2. GK Bass does respond. I should have really stayed on board with him as he tried to fight back, but I wanted to try and distribute the viewing a little bit more away from the top 4. And he sets a 122.7, puts him straight up to 7th, so that was a really nice, tidy, clean lap. So Ramsey's got his battery ready and he's just cruising through Sector 3 right now. Perhaps fuel management as well. But what a lap from GK Bass. So right now we've got Hex early on his outlap. Ramsey approaching the start. I think he might be the next one that we follow. Jesper as well, quite a way back. So yeah, let's follow on board with Ramsey, and then we'll switch to Cheryl Shaft as well, who's gearing up for his hot lap. Really gliding through it. It's a great camera angle, to be fair. 5 hundredths up, I should say. Good improvement so far. Looking very clean. The game looking quite good, to be fair, with these nighttime graphics. Not bad for quite an old engine. Nice on that curb. Really, really nice. Such delicate but perfect placement of the car there through that chicane. That looked very tidy. And then how far wide will he go? Yeah, really runs onto the right curb, cuts over the inside curb, tries to run as much speed as he can. I think he could have carried slightly more speed, and he's invalidated. I say that, I think he was almost trying to overcompensate a little bit after the entry, but everything up to then was really, really good. He was pushing to the limit. It's one of the worst times, actually, to have this issue, because he's got 1 minute and 22. So what does he do? Is that it for him? Is he out of fuel? Does he have to go in because of fuel? I'm a bit worried, and he does. The fuel is going to be an issue. He's going to go in, but he won't have time to set another lap. So Ramsey could actually find himself in a pretty abysmal position by the end of this session. Probably falling down into the teens, you'd imagine. So that is a shame. Just shows how close or how tight the limits are between a great session and a pretty disappointing one. JR Victor now on his hot lap. He's at a 122.241. Sorry, so I should say. But weirdly, his battery is just going down, so this must be the start of the hot lap. I'm going to ignore what the graphics just said on the game there. Let's see how he does. Morris, Moist, Gourd Sauce, all on out laps. I said I'd follow Share as well, but I just didn't quite get around to, so I'll try and do that next time. You see a lot of cars making their way down the straight. They're desperate maybe to get to the end before the time runs out, but that won't happen for them. So anyone you see behind Victor, they will not have a chance to set another lap. I'm just looking at the clock. I think everyone there will make it except for Victor. So Victor's going to be, I think, the first one to end this session. Wow, a lot of speed there. Picks up some marbles or something on the left-hand front tyre, which is a bit odd, but really good through there. Got to be so committed through here. Slight lock-up at the rears, but I don't think it affected anything at all. Look at that. Absolutely lovely through there. This is looking like a very, very good lap. So aggressive and turns in really early on the curbs. No fear of these curbs at all, using them to his advantage, and almost sets up 121. 122.0. That is a fantastic time. Morris is actually 1.5 tenths slower. And GK Bassett has now finished as well. Oh, that's got to be surely the end of the time. I'll see how he takes it, but yeah. With that mistake, Morris is out of contention for pole, but still a great time. Let's see what Moist can do. There are a lot of drivers actually soon to cross the line, so let's follow Gord first. There's going to be an Aston that sets the time, I think, in a minute. I could be wrong. Okay, Gord Sauce abandons his lap. Bronco now going through the final corner. Oh, massive bit of spin. Does improve, puts him into provisional 8th. Let's go back to Moist, though. He's looking like he's not going to be fast enough to grab any of the top 3 places. But you never know. Really going for it. No, 122, sorry, 480, not enough. Was his best time there. So that does conclude this qualifying session in PRL, the Performance Racing League, and we are at round 4 in Abu Dhabi for Tier 1. I hope you've enjoyed that, and we will probably take about a 2 to 4 minute break now, and when we return we will begin the feature event, the feature race, which is a 50% race distance event. So yeah, just to quickly go through the order before we go away, we've got JR Victor in provisional pole with a great lap. GK Bass, Morris, 3rd. Moist Fish, 4th. So consistent. Always fast at every track, it seems. Gourd Sauce really pushing on in 5th place. Mr. Hexon 6th. Very strong driver. Bart in 7th. Bronco 8th. Very good time. Ramsey 9th. I think he'll be disappointed, but also kind of happy to only be 9th and maybe not lower. Could have been worse. Justin 10th. Jesper in 11th. It's a good lap. Rob Sue in 12th. It's good to have him back. Femi in 13th, might be slightly disappointed, but he's a very good race driver. Definitely better on Sundays than Saturdays. Demure 14th, Heitskran 15th, that's really good from him. 16th, Cheryl Shaft, might be a bit disappointed, but again, very, very good at racing. Rusty 17th, Ace 18th, and Timgra, with the unfortunate DSQ given by the game, was unable to set a time, and he'll start in absolute last place on the grid. So we'll return in about 2 minutes. Thanks. Right, the race should be beginning shortly. Predictions, question mark. I think the top four have proven to be a slight cut above the rest so far this season. Not to say it won't change. I think any of the top four have a chance. I think you might find that perhaps Moist Fish tries to play it safe, because he's had quite bad luck recently. And I think GK Bass will want to push on and really challenge the order. So we'll see what happens, but there's going to be some pretty good racing, I reckon. I'm really excited, especially for the first few laps and seeing, how the strategies will work out. Good luck to the Aston Martin boys. Yeah, Nico John being biased as always. Not in the commentary booth though, is he? Who's on pole? Victor indeed, yep. With a great time. We followed it on board, in fact. I think we were on board pretty much the whole lap, and it was wonderful. Definitely deserved his pole position. Always a good driver. And then, as an Alfa Romeo driver myself, I'm obviously biased, but I'm very happy to see Victor on pole. Yeah, Nico wants the Alfa Romeos to crash. Oh, here we go. Jumping straight in. 5 lights. They're out, and away we go. A very clean start so far. Victor holding that lead as Moist Fish keeps that third place, runs it down the inside, and it looks like there's a GK Bass running wide off the track, and that's going to potentially allow Moist and Morris to fight, but they are very close together right now, fighting for third position, as we see quite a lot of cars very wide there, and we see Morris just backing off from the move, not going for the move. He's going to line it up down the straights. We look backwards with a lot of action there. We've got a spun out Aston Martin, and I think 2 or 3 cars taking collateral from that. If we just follow down the order. Oh, it's a little bit scruffy down there. But now we go back to Morris and Moist fighting for third position. I think Moist is going to hold on, so this is very nice indeed. And we see in the background Ramsey diving down the inside, but as I said earlier in qualifying, if you run it around the outside here, it can actually work out for you. You force the other driver down that shallow inside exit on such an off-camber corner that then the actual driver on the outside gets that advantage, and you see the results of that. But Mr. Hex is not going down without a fight here. This is fantastic racing. Let's view it on board from Bart, and look at that. Oh my word, as Bart almost completely drops it, but Ramsey couldn't quite get that move done. Mr. Hex made the most of these high downforce cars, being able to sweep it with huge speed around the outside. What a great bit of racing there from those drivers. And let's just look down just a little bit through the order, and I think Rusty is in trouble. Rusty has spun, or maybe been tagged. We've missed it, as we see Timgra working his way up, so that's nice. He's got a car on his inside though, in the shape of Heiskran. Oh, very close to contact. I think Heiskran had to then kind of force off a little bit wide there in the end, so I think Timbra's going to hold on. Oh, what on earth happened there? Massive, massive turn. I hope they didn't make contact, but either way, Heiskran is definitely through now. Let's make our way back up through the order then. Follow Morris on board in 4th place. Yeah, yeah. The Aston Martin of Justin got the Nico John effect, unfortunately. So no overtaking just yet, but don't forget DRS comes in on the next lap. Let's just follow it down, see if anyone makes a move. Looks like the answer is no. Oh, bit of late covering here. If we look down, okay, I kind of mess up the camera angle, I won't lie. But these two are now fighting. Let's get on board. Oh, there's going to be something going on here. Timgra and Heiskran, they've been fighting very hard already in this race. But let's actually bounce up to Morris, just because I thought something might have been on there. Yeah, Heiskran was overtaken by Timgra, but he is fighting back. There's a lot going on here. It's hard to keep track. These two going tooth and nail, trying to get the move done. But don't forget now, as we approach lap 3, that DRS will be activated. Should start to see a lot of activity. GK Bass setting the fastest time so far. Heiskran just really struggling with rear grip and traction, it seems. Just doesn't seem happy with the car at all right now. Losing a little bit of time as a result. Ace Edge, though, that's really nice. Making his way up the order, I believe. Yeah, up 7 places. Very nice from him. But I think it is now time to switch back to this main straight with the DRS enabled. And let's see if Victor can hold on. It's going to be tough for Victor, I won't lie. As you see, Moist and Bass pulling away. Sorry, Morris and Bass pulling away and making those moves quite simply in the end. Moist does not fight back. He decides to try it down this straight. And again, if I miss any moves down there, I do apologise. It's hard to keep track of everything going on. But will these drivers fight back? I think the answer is no. So let's try and get back to the action. Yep, we've got Demure and Femi Thrustmaster. Femi cruising past with DRS. Must have quite a high-speed setup. Being very careful there, very respectful. Oh, that was close. He did give enough room on the inside, though. You know, he gave a car's width there. Just a little bit of contact, racing incident, and he holds the place. Nice driving there from Femi into 12th. Weirdly, it says -1. I think he's up 1 place, I believe. Yeah, looking good. Hearing that TC kicking in as well. GK Bass cruising out front. Hasn't quite built up the 1 second delta, though, to Victor. So Victor is looking like he will be able to potentially re-overtake Bass down the main straight. I think you need to be about 5 tenths behind to get the move done easily. So it's going to come down to how they take these corners. It's like a nice line from Victor, though. A little touch, though, a little snap of oversteer on the exit might save Bass. Let's see. Very quiet on the audio there. But yeah, Bass will hold on. So these 4 will probably keep position as we make our way down the order. Surprisingly, doesn't look like there'll be any overtakes down here. But let's follow Bronco, see if he can nail that exit. A little bit of a train forming already here at Abu Dhabi. Femi now trying to get up into 11th. And in almost the exact same way, has cruised it past Ace Edge. This time he's going to cover off that inside a little bit more. And it's going to cement that position. Very nice driving from Femi. We did say he's always good in the races themselves. Cheryl Shaft also up 2 places. Big loser, of course, Justin from that start. I think a bit of contact, maybe got tagged, maybe spun, hard to tell. And Robsu really looking difficult. Oh, something has happened here. Something has happened. Ace Edge has gone into the wall and he has lost his front wing. And he's actually caused a safety car, which is very shocking. I mean, it should have been a VSC, but the game has given a safety car. And that is going to completely reset those deltas. The grid will now line up. Will anyone choose to pit is the question. Let's just take a little look at the tyres. I did definitely show them to you at the start. But as you see, the top 5 all running mediums. Quite a strange look, actually. Then 6th through 12th on hards. And almost the entirety of the rest of the field on mediums. I think if you're on a medium tyre and you're towards the back of the grid, I think pitting actually isn't so bad right now. But I don't expect many to pit. I could be wrong, though, but I don't expect many to pit. Of course, Ace has got to. He's lost his front wing. But yes, that's how we're going. Definitely good for the likes of Timgra, Justin. I think 14th down, really. Didn't have the best race starts you'll ever see. So it'll allow them to close up. GK Bass, obviously the loser. I think he was going to pull away from the DRS activation window of 1 second. So I think that he'll be quite frustrated by that. It is annoying when you lead a race and safety cars come out. I mean, to think otherwise is silly. You know, last thing you want when you're winning a race is extra parameters thrown in and a bit of chaos and a bit of luck. But a very clean race so far. The top 4 maintaining and cementing really their top 4. I think it does show that they are the ones to beat so far in this season. So it's going to be quite a long safety car period, I think. We're going to catch the safety car up in the next minute. There are a couple of cars that are still catching up, and I think a couple might pit. So I reckon there'll be 2 laps under safety car. So there'll be this whole one now, and I think there'll be 1 more. And then we'll get back underway, that's my guess. As we see Moist Fish enter the pits on mediums. Yep, notably the hard tyre runners, you'll notice they're not pitting, because I just don't think it would work. So it does make sense so far, what's going on. Very weird camera angle there, but he's put on the hard tyre. That is the sensible move there. So he can do a hard tyre. I'm guessing it won't go to the end, but I don't know. Anyone in the chat, do they know if a hard tyre set will do 23 laps with maybe 2 under safety car? You know, is that possible? Interesting. But it is an odd one, because it is an odd one for Moist, if I'm honest, because he was in the top 4. He had track position. I mean, even if he got a bit held in the train here, I think he was looking very solid. I think he would have picked them off eventually. But obviously going on to the hard tyre, because no one else really pit, he's all the way down in 16th, sorry, 15th. And he needs to fight his way back up through the order. And it's, you know, it's going to always be a risk of collisions and crashes. So, yeah, I'd like to know the decision on that one, unless he really thinks he can take the hard to the end and just saving that 25-second pit stop will make up, will make up for all of this. But it's very risky move. Right, so we've got Robsu and Ace, who are the ones to catch up. They're not going to catch up in time, so I think I'm right. There will be one more safety car lap after this, and it's guaranteed to then come in. And yes, good to see people tuning in again. For those that are new to PRL, obviously welcome. It's nice to have you here. For those that are returning, obviously thanks for returning. And if you have any suggestions or any queries or questions, obviously just ping them in the chat. Craig, maybe banking on another safety car and then switching to fresh mediums. Yeah. There's logic there. I think the question of will the hard tyre make it to the end? Oh my goodness me, what went on there? What on earth? I have no idea what happened there. Yeah, so one more. Are they actually up and racing? Oh, sorry guys, I completely missed that. I've never seen a safety car come in from that position, I have to say, in all my time of watching F1 on this game. But they're away. And look at this, it's absolutely feisty. Victor with an immense exit. Poor GK Bass, I think he's going to potentially lose his position if Victor can place this perfectly on the inside. But, you know, kudos to the game. They actually got it back up and running really early, and they didn't just allow the back runners straight back. Quite like that. Victor doing so well through there. That was a fantastic move. Bass now a little bit under threat. Slightly compromised on exit. Morris now potentially going to try down some... Sorry, going to try a move. Can't quite this time, but taking a nice wide line and keeping in touch. Good racing from these guys. Moist Fish as well. He's up to 13th. So he's looking good. Demure, what's happened to Demure? Ooh, slightly slow exit and he's gone down 2 last. As we follow Moist Fish as he tries to charge his way back through the order. Robsy with a 3-second time penalty for, I think, corner track limits. Some good camera angles here, to be fair. And Moist Fish, not quite close enough to make a move on Timgra. He's going to have to line that up, hopefully down that main straight between sectors 1 and 2. Let's go on board with Jesper, though. He's looking very feisty right now. He's looking really good. Quite slow in a straight line though, as we see a very good battle unfolding here between the top of the order. This safety car's really elevated this race. GK Bass can't quite get back, but you just know that as soon as that DRS window is opened again next lap, he will overtake. But you know what? GK Bass going through anyway. There could be some sense actually in Victor just sticking behind Bass and just getting the move done. But you know what? He's going to fight it out. This is fantastic racing here between GK Bass and Victor. Aston Martin versus an Alpha. GK Bass keeps the position. It's so good that they've opened that that left-hand corner up, because it allows 2 cars to actually race through multiple corners at high speed. And this is the sort of racing we're getting as a result. It's really nice to see. Victor all over the back of Bass, definitely looking like he'll get the move done. And as I said, being in second place in this scenario is actually really good. And Bass needs to make sure he really aces this sector 1. I suppose the only thing for Victor is to be wary of is Morris. Looking very quick, catching up slightly. Ace Edge making a move on Rusty. Timgra losing out to Demure in the background. But here we go. We'll follow it on board from Ramsey for now, and just see how they fared down this very long straight. Wow. So GK Bass just holding on completely. So GK Bass must have a very high-speed setup, or Victor messed the exit up, but his exit did not seem that bad. But either way, if anything here, it's looking like Victor will be under pressure to Morris. A lot of drivers going through here, it's lovely. Look at this. Ace is trying to run it deep and long around that back. Around the outside. Very tight racing here. Ace edge, of course, with DRS, but Rusty does not like to give up positions. It's good to see, fighting all the way. Does cross that white line, so that will be a track limits warning. Oh. Very tight through there. Oh, and the front wing just completely disintegrates. No way, there's a safety car being called out for that. Oh my goodness me. Okay. They say to keep positive, but I just don't understand that. What is going on? Demur, my game crashed. I will try to invite you, buddy, but I don't know if I can, because I don't think we're friends. That sounds really mean. Yeah, you need to add me first, Demur, and then I could try something, but I just don't see you on there. I'm really sorry, mate. I think during safety car you might find one of the admins sees your message. What's my EA? How do I figure out what my EA is? Oh dear. I don't know. View profile. No, that's his profile. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I'd assume it's... I'll message it in the chat what I think it is, but I could be wrong. I'm going to assume it's this. I'll try and get someone to invite you though in the meantime. There must be someone that has you. Oh, do you know what? I think that the game actually allows this as well, potentially. If I go this way... You're really testing my limits here. Here we go. No, of course, because you're on PC. So if you were PlayStation, I could have clicked there. And I could have added you that way. So no, I'm trying. We'll try and get you back in, mate. Right, so another safety car. And I'm going to be really careful this time, because it looks like the game is just giving safety cars out left, right and centre, but also letting them back in immediately. You should expect most of the grid to pit. How is this going to work out for Moist Fish? I think very well. Very well, my mind says. Okay, thanks, Demir. I'll give it a go in a second. I just want to see where Moist comes out. In 5th place, along with Gordsaw, so an inspired pit, perhaps, by Gordon Moist Fish. I think Craig did say that he was hoping for another safety car, and, well, it certainly transpired, and it looks very good for him. So, it's a good job, and he'll now catch up to the train. Right, I'll very quickly try and add Demir. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Why are you not showing up? Or am I going blind? Wait, let me come off and try again. Here we go. Fantastic. It's been sent. Rob Sue overtaking Moist Fish under safety car. No, I think they were just sorting themselves out. Dutch, I actually agree with you. I think whoever suggested the reduced, I think it was Nico. I definitely upvoted it. So yeah, I'm definitely practicing what I preach there. I think it should be reduced. Not because the drivers are bad, it's not that at all. It's just because the game is so sensitive. I mean, you don't bring a safety car out because someone loses their front wing. You put a VSC out, you find a little 20-second gap, and you get a steward to just remove the wing. I mean, if there's pieces everywhere, maybe. But especially when you've just had a safety car come in, a VSC should buy you a massive, massive gap to clean the truck up. So it just doesn't really... Well, it's meant to be a simulation game, isn't it? It's not really simulating what would happen in real life. And it has spiced up the race. But then you can only help and feel a bit sorry, actually, for sort of GK Bass and Morris and so on. Because they're now down in 7th and 8th through no fault of their own. I am curious, though, about Hex, Bart and Bronco and how they're going to behave in terms of tyre strategy. I suppose they're just going to run the base standard strategy. They'll just try and run to sort of lap 17 and then pit onto mediums, I imagine, or something like that. So they just decided, you know what, I don't care about these safety cars. I'm just going to keep going. I've got the hard tyre, run long, and just see what happens. I mean, of course, yeah, I think it has worked quite well. But Gourd Sauce and Moist in a slightly better position. The only one I'm a little bit concerned by is Robsu. I think that, again, just an opinion, I think he should have pit. He's the only one that's kind of glaring out at me as potentially a bit of a tyre strategy mistake. But of course I could be wrong. And maybe he thinks there's just going to be another safety car anyway, I don't know. Let's have a look at the winners and losers. This would definitely... Oh my word. Quite a lot of aggression from the Merc again. What was I saying? Let's take a look at the winners and losers tyre positions, or sorry, position changes. I can't speak today. So yeah, Hex, Bart, Bronco, of course, up 5, but are yet to pit. Gourd Sauce, a very big winner, in 4th on quite a fresh set of hards. Moist Fish down 2, but on a fresh set of hards. So more like +1, I think. +2 when you factor everything in. Because certainly 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 5th will need to pit very soon in the next few laps, especially Robsu. GK Bass and Morris, they were the leading pack along with Victor. Annoyingly for Victor, and this is one of the most frustrating things, he's ended up stuck behind Ace Edge just because of timing of pit stops and so on. So he was fighting it out with Morris and Bass, but he is now stuck behind Ace Edge. Although I'd imagine that Victor's got much fresher tyres. Yeah, definitely does. Victor on, I think, worn hards. Sorry, Ace Edge on worn hards. Victor on fresh hards. And then Jesper holding on mediums. You've got Cher up 4, Femi holding, and yeah, it's quite a nice balanced grid, to be fair. Ramsey obviously losing out a little bit, but he's got himself back in the running. But anyway, let's not get distracted this time. Let's get back to the front runners. Mr. Hex, how is he going to restart? He's quite entitled to drive this slowly, it's completely fine. Oh, just goes for it. Quite an unusual time and completely catches Bart out. Fantastic race start there from Mr. Hex, or restart I should say. Good job. Gourd Sauce then will try to make the most and needs to make the most of these relatively fresher hard tyres over Bronco. What a crazy exit speed difference. Demure 5-second penalty speeding in the pits. Oh, such a shame. We managed to get him back in this session, but spending the pit lane, you got to feel for him. I hope it was him rejoining and not the game being silly, but what commiserations. Gourd Sauce, fantastic driving there. What a great move. Quite an unusual, unsuspected move. And look at this, Robsu on worn mediums. Is he going to try and get both? Or, you know what, I think a younger Robsu would have tried. But the mature, sensible Robsu backs out. There's a lot of good action going on right now on this restart. You've got Moist and Bronco fighting out. Bronco is just absolutely struggling for any sort of traction. I think his tyres are shot, his temperatures are low. Nothing is going well for him. Moist already up into 5th. GK Bass needs to get this move done on Bronco as soon as possible. He needs to try and hold firm against Moist whilst he has significantly newer tyres. Look at that, 4 in almost a box configuration there. No one spinning each other out. Really, really cool driving. This is really good to watch. GK Bass all over the back of Bronco. As I said, he has to get this move done. A flying piece of debris smacks into Bronco's car. Takes a tight line there, GK Bass. But look at this up front. We've got Morris, Robsu. Morris having to dart through and past the worn tyres of Robsu. Bronco just getting sandwiched there. You know, what can Bronco really do? He's got to let one through on one side, and then he can't really do much about one on the other. You've got to feel sorry for him. But these worn tyres just are not working for Bronco, and a bit of an innocent victim. Oh my word! Robsu running off the track like a train, off the rails, bouncing on those curbs. Hopefully doesn't have floor damage. Victor says thank you very much, darts up the inside, pretty much off screen. Gourd Sauce takes that place off Barcher, really shaping his way past these worn tyre runners here into 2nd place now. And he is doing everything he needs to do to put himself in contention for a great result here. Moist Fish as well, doing a great job. But he's going to be quite frustrated perhaps, because after that second safety car, he essentially ends up net neutral with Morris and Bass, but on significantly more worn hard tyres. Shouldn't make too much of a difference, because I think both of them will pit again, but I don't know actually. You know what? It could be a massive difference, because I think Morris, Bass, Victor, they can all run to the end, right? Whereas I think Moist, just having those 4 lap older tyres, is going to struggle. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be moist today, but you never know, there could be a safety car. Jesper is out. Sorry, we missed that completely. Jesper is out of the session. He has dropped it, and this time the safety car is definitely warranted. We have a car completely stranded on the track, or it certainly was. It was on this corner here. I forget the number. This lovely, lovely left sweeping hander. Left-hander, sorry. That is where it happened. And now that should allow drivers to get quite a big advantage. It's pretty insane how many safety cars we're having, though. But understandably, I think now you might find some of these medium runners stick on maybe a hard to the end, or if they have a second medium, you just put one fresh medium on, and that's it. But okay, in Rusty's case, he's gone for the hard. I could see some people put in maybe a fresh medium, but fresh hard makes a lot of sense. And changes his wing, and so on. Demur given a way back into this race, because after that 5-second penalty, he can serve it under safety car, I believe. And he can change to a nice fresh set, although being on the hard tyre for only yeah, I think he's done both sets, both compounds, so he could stick whatever tyre he wants on. He's going to have a nice fresh car. Justin overtakes. He's already put a fresh set of mediums on. I think he'll make those work. He'll make those get to the end, as long as he takes it easy right now, which is exactly what he's doing. As you see Demur serve his 5-second penalty, and yeah, I think if you're confident, you'd stick a fresh set of mediums on. If you're not confident, you stick hards on. Oh, Rusty's on 9-lap hold hard, so I think, to answer your question, I think Rusty should have put mediums on. I think he's accidentally selected worn hards. He's going to have to box again, otherwise he's going to finish last. So he's going to have to box again and hope the safety car's not quite as excitable as it was last time out. Right, so let's try and get back to the leaders. Let's see who's going to pit. I mean, Mr. Hex, Bart, they have to pit. It's just, there's no question. Gourd Sauce, yeah, Gourd Sauce will pit. I think it is the right move to keep the pace. Bart cutting the corner of the pit entry apex, and he's actually got a 3 seconds. That is very frustrating and very needless. What a shame. It's easily done, though. Easily done. Sticking on a fresh set of mediums. So much chaos in the pit lane right now. Only Bart with a penalty, because the rest of course, served theirs in the pit lane. So Bart just, massive swing for him in the wrong direction there. It's going to have it all to do. Timgra is in 3rd place, which is just ridiculous. Not because he's slow, but you look at his start and you look where he qualified, and you end up with Femi Frostmaster now leading the race. Okay, his tyres are 5 laps old. They probably won't make it to the end, but I mean, I can actually understand why you do that. You get track position, and there could well be a safety car. Yeah, Gord after 2 laps is in P1, and of course he then pit, but look at him. It's ridiculous. Fresh mediums, P4. I mean, everyone from sort of 4th down to 10th is looking lovely. I mean, it has kind of neutralised. You could say 4th down to 14th. They're all in a good position. It's just a case of who's at the top of that. And yeah, Gord, Hex, Bart, it's just worked out so well, especially really for Hex and Bart, because if you look at the start of the race, they were nowhere really. It wasn't quite going to plan for them. They certainly weren't challenging the top 4, but now they've got a fantastic result. And I think it's going to be an interesting race, because you'll find that Morris, Moist, Bass and Victor, who I think on paper have more pace, they're going to have to get past these cars on equal tyre life. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the ones on Timgra I'm not worried about. I mean, I think Timgra can make these tyres last to the end, and I think it's quite a smart move. I mean, he's not going to win the race, but it's a smart move. I think Highscran and Femi is questionable. But I'm not actually that clued up on Abu Dhabi, and I really struggle with tyre wear on this game. So, is the safety car coming in? Have I missed the message? Because I swear last time it just went, but clearly not, right? Because we're still right behind. So oh, okay, it's because of Demur. I just saw Demur. Yeah, if you look back in Sector 3, you've got a little Demur there. Okay, let's go through the chat. Thanks for messaging, everyone. Like me watching you chase me down, Craig. Yeah. Craig is very rapid on his day, isn't he? Okay, Rusty disconnected again. So unfortunate for Rusty. His internet's normally good, you know, but it's obviously having a rough time at the moment. Is he back out? I'm just going to assume. I'm going to assume it's not. Why wouldn't it let me change? It's really odd. It won't let me. Okay, well now it was glitched out before. Yeah. So the game's not letting me change the I can't toggle left and right on this spectator menu. It's completely bugged out. So if Rusty can't make it, I can't invite him. Not from here anyway. Let me try something else. Okay, I've managed to do it. Right, so the safety car would definitely come in this lap. The race has really just completely inverted itself because of the amount of safety cars and kind of a bit of a luck element, if we're being honest. But of course, you've got to make the most of the opportunities. Of course, safety cars in this lap. What an early call. A very early call to say the safety cars in this lap. I mean, Sector 3 is long. Cheryl Shaft has invited me to play F1. I've not been kicked, right? I'm not seeing like a fake race here. Oh, no. Right, let me check what's going on. I think it's fine, isn't it, guys? Anyone in the stream, is there any issues? Because I've been given an invitation or sent an invitation. That normally only happens if there's an issue. It's fine. I'll ignore it. I'll let it go. Yeah, this is definitely good. Oh, Femi with a bit of a mixed restart. Yeah, just plays it safe. Just exit at the midpoint. Puts the throttle down at the midpoint of the corner as soon as he's got the car straight. Not really a lot you can do behind that because it's such a short start-finish line. So very sensible from Femi there, using his experience. And we've got some cars side by side here. Let's ping back on. So you've got Moist Fish. Will he dive down the inside on Bart? Wow, very nice from Bart there. Doesn't turn in on Moist. Moist kind of tries the move, and Bart says, okay, fine, you can have it. Mr. Hex down into 5th, but he's going to try and get back past Timgra. And is he going to try and go past Gordsource as well? Is it a double move? Is it the first one of the day? Oh, Gordsource says, no way are you doing that. To be honest, I think Hex could have braked later. I think he just about could have done it. But very sensible driving from him. Cheryl Shaft getting past Ace, but will Ace come back? It's always the question on this sort of track. And looking behind, there's some good battles going on. Ace Edge goes for the very late move. Cheryl Shaft says, no you don't. I've got the traction to hold that on. Good racing here. Bart Jur has run off the track. I wonder what happened there. Oh, what a shame. He's going to have to rejoin right at the back. And he's going to have to enter the pit lane. Oh, disappointing for Bart. But clean driving on the re-entry there. Fair play. GK Bass and Victor, they need to get a bit of an act. They need to get their act together here. Maybe not fight themselves too much. They need to press on. And they need to get past Timgra. They need to, because Timgra's out of DRS with Moist. So this race is falling away very quickly, but GK Bass does look like the quicker driver right now. No DRS until lap 20. And hopefully no more safety cars, as I have missed, sorry, Mr. Hex and Morris going at it. A lot of action late down this straight. We've got Heitzgran now and Moist. Bit of contact in front, I think I heard. And yeah, that exit on the outside, there's just so much more grip and there's less off camber. Makes it a lot easier. Morris will go on the move on the very heavily depleted Mr. Hex. Mr. Hex will probably try and run it around the outside, but I don't think it's going to work. No. Concedes position there. So Morris now probably looking like the most likely to take the win as it stands. A lot of pace. He's got ahead of his rivals. And the two cars in front do have slightly more worn tyres. So watch out for Morris. Now Femi's tyres, I believe, will start to have issues on the mediums. There's going to start to be quite a big differential. I don't see him holding on past Sector 2 here. But Morris looking very sharp. As I say, DRS enabled now on lap 20. Or 29, sorry. 9 laps to go. So Hex looking good though. Keeping in touch with those nice fresh tyres. GK Bass and Victor running off the track. I'm not sure what happened, but they're doing exactly what they don't want to be doing, which is putting a huge gap between them and the next driver. But they have managed to get past Timgra. This is absolutely crazy. I don't like the look of this at all. Oh my word. They sort of sorted it out, but look how many drivers we have in the space of a mere few meters. I think the Ferraris are going to look quite feisty going down here. It's going to be hard to track all of this. Bronco might try and get back past Bass. Bass with a late move. Oh, geez. He braked so late. I think it might have harmed him. Yeah, allowed Bronco to actually sweep it through down the inside of that second part of the chicane and keep DRS. And they're just losing so much time now. I mean, you look at Hike Scram, 3 seconds behind, and then 1.1 to the rest. GK Bass going to try and get past Bronco with a very aggressive, desperate move. It's just not quite going to work. And the race is slightly falling away for them. But this is really great for the likes of Femi, actually. Who, even on worn tyres, you know, he's still in second place. And, okay. Oh, I don't know what happened there. But to be honest, I mean, Femi's still got to take a line. They can't all just dart around the outside. Hex, unfortunately, has cut the pit entry line. He might be a lucky boy not to get a 5-second penalty after the race by the stewards for that one. That's a shame. But now you'll see all the drivers get back past after Moist and Bass pit. So I can only imagine, right, that I just missed it on the stream. I just tried to flick the camera angle, but it's so hard to get at the right time. I think that they had contact. Might have been as a result of Femi taking the shallow line, and they kind of went around the outside, but either way something happened. And yet again, Moist Fish has had an issue. But yet again, there's a safety car. So the end of this race is just going to be insane. Certainly GK and Moist completely spared any sort of embarrassment. They'll now be on very fresh tyres. See, there's like 3 stops. They're on soft tyres. It's insane. And I think for Femi, this is absolutely beautiful because he would need to pit anyway. And he can now pit onto the soft tyres. And it should work out quite well for him. So I expect to see Femi and Hikeskran and Timgra all pit onto the soft tyres. Probably Rusty as well. As for the others, if you're on mediums of 5-6 laps, it's so tough. You know, part of you thinks I'll keep track position, and you know, especially if you're like Demur or Ace. But soft tyre, do you fancy it? Having to defend against the soft tyre for about 7 laps, 6 laps. Yeah, it's tough. It's just such a tough race. It's been very challenging from a strategy point of view, and yeah, quite a bit of it is luck. But what I do know is that once the safety car comes back in, it's going to be a very exciting end to this race. And I think this will be the last safety car. I think the game has probably maxed out. Certainly this race could have done with reduced safety car. Right, so Morris, who is of course now in the lead. Oh, Femi not pitting. Okay, so Morris in the lead, Femi also not pitting, Bronco not pitting. Yeah, so to my mind here, Gord Source and Heightscram are in a really good place. And it's so good to see Heightscram having a good race and being high up the order. But I think him and Gord Source have made an inspired move. I mean, yeah, I think it does make sense. Femi's the one I question. I think you can get 7-lap old mediums to the end quite easily, especially when you've got, you know, 2 safety car laps where you can cruise and ease off the pressures and temps. But I think, I don't know, it's going to be tough for Femi to be competitive. But I do get it. He wants track position. And to answer your question, Craig, the top 4 are on mediums of 6, 11, 7 and 7 laps old, respectively, and then 5th through to 15th have all gone onto fresh softs, so they're either fresh or 1 lap old. And 16th through to 19th, they're out of the session. I did actually miss that Mr. Hex retired. I'm not sure what happened there. Not sure if it was like a lead lap retirement or if something happened, I'm not sure, but he is also out of the session. And if we quickly take a look at penalties, Demur and Bart, the only ones with pens, that's nice. Although the safety cars have certainly helped others to get rid of theirs. And finally, if you look at position changes, well, yeah, the race has just been shaken on its head time after time. Doesn't even know what it is anymore. Femi in second up 11, Demur 4th up 10. So they're the big winners. I mean, Highscran up 6th as well. But you have to give a big shout out to Gordsource. He's navigated this race superbly well. GK Bass down 7, I think, after the contact. That's affected him. Moist as well with that incident. I'm not sure what happened, but something happened. Victor, big loser, down into 13th. Maybe he was involved as well. I might have missed that, but maybe he had contact. So yeah, it's tough. And yeah, just reading your comment, Dutch. Yes, the softs will struggle after a few laps, but I think this is judged pretty well because there's going to be another lap of safety car. So realistically, it's going to be about 5 laps of racing actually on them, or maybe 6. So yeah, 6 laps on softs will be absolutely fine. Yeah, Ramsey a big winner. Agreed. It's kind of really revitalised his race. That is true. Right, let's get back to the tyre view. And I'm just going to quickly mute my mic and get a drink for about 20 seconds. Okay, so we return. The safety car is coming in this lap. Morris on 7 lap all mediums. The top 4 not pitting. They're just preparing now. I'm reading the chat. Yes, Gord Source looking like a very top favourite runner here to take victory today. It's going to be an intense 5 or 6 laps. Let's see how Morris restarts. Expect a bit of chaos, a bit of carnage, but hopefully some good entertainment. Good restart from Morris. And Femi already struggling a little bit, I would say, with traction. Let's go back. So we've got Demur and Gord Source. Will Demur just let Gord through? Well done to Demur for doing that. It's very nice driving. And now Demur needs to just sort of cover the others off a little bit. Try and scupper Heitskran, Ramsey and below. Allow Gord Source to push on by himself. Good strategizing there by the Alpha Tauris. I don't think Demur's going to be able to hold on for too long though. But let's take a look at this. Ooh, bit of a moment. And the other Aslan, a bit of a snap on the exit as well. So we've almost got 3 abreast. If we try and track on board with Ramsey, we're going to try and see if that view gives us anything nice. Sensibly just backs off, does not want to get involved. Moist Fish down the inside. Takes position off Demur. So now Gord, Heitskran and Moist already now up into 4th, 5th and 6th. Ramsey needs to get past Demur as quickly as possible. Gord Source doing everything he needs to do, tearing up these medium tyre runners. Already up into 3rd. I think he's going to sniff it down the inside here. Why not? The soft tyre just so dominant, especially around those sort of corners. A purple sector 1, of course. Femi doing everything he can. He's still having a fantastic race. Really good from him. Just got to keep it clean and not worry too much about the other drivers. You know, he's good to lose places, but it's still a good race. Heitskran, what an exit on the softs. He is not messing around. Leaves a nice amount of room. And Bronco being so nice there and respectful has allowed Moist to come back in and get past. So Bronco now down to 6th, but doing well. Gord Source 2 seconds away from Morris, so we're just going to have to track that delta time. Ramsey off the track, and he's going to have GK Bass come back at him. These two really trying to recover their races. Poor GK Bass, it's such a shame. You know, him, Victor, running so well at the start of this race. Not really their fault, I think, what happened. Nice exit from all of these guys. Demur versus Ramsey. Demur is not making it easy at all. A lot of chaos, but the cars in front have sorted themselves out. Oh, the Aston. Very aggressive there, but I think just slows it down in time. And yeah, the outside line for Ramsey. Smart driving. GK Bass got to get past Demur now. The DRS will be activated next lap on 26 of 29. Yeah, deploying battery and just going for it there with the increased grip. Nothing Demur can do, really. And then it's Victor's turn to get past, I think, Demur. Oh, what's happened here? An incident. Oh, is it going to be a... Oh! Timgra with an incident there involving Ace Edge. He has no front wing. Ace Edge has a front wing. Share a shaft. I can't tell, but I'll find out. I think he's okay. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened, of course. I couldn't track it all. Maybe it was just a driver error from Timgra. Maybe it was a racing incident. Maybe it was worse. Who knows? But we're going to have another safety car. And that will probably bring us to lap 28 release. So there'll be 2 flying laps. I do expect chaos now. I think two laps after everything that's happened. You've got to feel for Gord Sauce in a way. I mean, yes, it allows him back in, but I think that was his race. It was a guaranteed win, I think, for Gord Sauce. If nothing else had happened from there to the end, I think it was almost a guaranteed win. Instead, though, it is super awkward because what does Morris and Femi and Bronco do? I guess you just stay out for track position, and it's less wear on your tyres, and then those 2 laps at the end, they're hopefully not too difficult. Femi will struggle though. I'm just a bit worried for Femi that he might get swallowed up. He gets one bad exit, gets overtaken, gets forced wide, loses another place. Before you know it, you're 12th. Your whole race is kind of over. So it's a tough one. But I think for the soft tyre runners, they'll be happy with this. It just gives them 2 laps to conserve that tyre life and then just push again at the end. Of course, if you're right at the bottom, you're obviously going to pit. If Ace really wanted to pit, he could. But I think most will stay put. Alright, let's get to the leaders. Let's see if any of them do pit. Very odd camera angle through here. Yep, no one pitting. And then Timga right at the back after the damage and the change of front wing. I think he should catch up in time, so I do expect the safety car to come in at the end of lap. Oh, to be fair, it could actually come in this lap. We'll see how we'll track it, but it could actually come in end of lap 26. So in that case, there would be 3 flying laps, 3 racing laps, I should say. Because surely there can't be another safety car. Timber pushing so hard, he wants to get up, he wants those fresh tyres, and he wants 3 laps. You can tell he's a driver that wants the safety car to come in. He's flying. Even run wide a little bit. Demir would definitely catch up between the Sector 3 trigger. It depends, this is going to be very tight. I'm not an expert on the game and how it's programmed, but I think if you catch up before the Sector 3 line, it comes in. I think he might just not do it. I think he might just miss it. Craig said he still expects Gord to win this. I think because nothing crazy's happened. No, safety car is coming in. Sensible from the game. That's good. Yeah, Gord is my favourite as well. Because, I mean, Moist and High Ground, they will be hot on his heels, but they've got to dispatch Femi first, which I don't think will be too hard just because of tyre wear. I think Morris, as long as Gord gets past Morris really early on, then I think, because there's only 3 laps, just having Morris and Femi as a nuisance for Moist and High Ground will prevent anyone from challenging Gord. So I think if this goes as a normal race would go, yeah, Gord probably wins this, but you never know. There's probably going to be incidents, crashes, goodness knows what. Maybe late DRS overtakes. DRS will only be activated on the last lap, I believe. Might be wrong there. But yeah, so 2 flying laps then if it's saying lap 27, right? So we're going to have 28 and 29. I think it's 2 laps after a restart DRS comes back. So based on that, there'll be no DRS, right? But anyway, Morris has restarted relatively well, quite early to be fair. And yeah, let's follow Moist then. He needs to get the move done, as does Ramsey to be fair. We've got a Mercedes though of Ace. Oh, did not give enough room there to Ace, I think. I think Ace was squeezed, and that is not nice at all. But I'm afraid there will not be any more safety cars. No more safety cars now. Anyway, in the meantime, Moist gets past Femi, as you'd expect. High Scran and Ramsey now hot on the heels of Femi. They've got to make this work. Gord Sauce has not quite got past Morris yet. I think he really needs to get this move done this lap. He's got to make sure he doesn't allow Moist even any chance to come back. Bronco around the outside. or GK Bus, I think, losing a position, and then Victor's now going to swallow him up on exit. Just no traction with those worn medium tyres. Timgra already dispatching the lower running cars. But Bronco has actually got a great straight line speed, and he's saying, no, you don't. But yeah, just look at that traction difference. Nothing you can do if you were Bronco there. Good little shootout here on the soft tyres. And we'll follow straight back on board with Gourd Sauce very soon. Bit of a mistake from Femi. Very compromised exit, and that's how you lose time as those soft runners. So Highscrad and Ramsey, the gap to Moist is getting bigger and bigger. Highscrad, you have to get this move done as soon as possible. Yeah, or you will find that Ramsey says, I'll give it a go. Good move from Ramsey. Nice gearing as well. On the last lap, let's follow back on with Gourd Sauce. Is he going to dive down the inside? I noticed that he actually backed off the throttle. He's just so focused on this straight line. Oh! Almost spins out. Really drops the back. It's going to cost his exit big time. Has he blown it there? It's still a bit... There's another straight to go. Will he nail this chicane? I'm going to quickly hop on with GK Bass though. GK Bass and Victor. It is absolutely it's chaos right here. Highscrad. Oh, dearie me. Oh, poor Femi. Getting spun there, I believe. Probably one that gets looked into later on. But let's follow back on board with Gourd Sauce. Morris has no battery. Moist is caught up. Everything I said is happening, really. Gourd has not made the move, and it's allowed Moist a chance at this race. So let's just follow these top three to the finish. They're going to be going crazy here. Morris should be able to hold on, though. Even with no battery, what a result if he can achieve it. Gourd Sauce trying everything he can. It's just not going to quite work, though, is it? And Morris has done a fantastic job to hold on there, defying expectations. And Morris is your Tier 1 PRL race winner here in round 4 at Abu Dhabi. Moist then jumps... Wait. What? Okay, we'll look at that later. Demir 4th. What is going on? I'll go through this order in a second, but I need to figure out why Ramsey's showing up as first. Did I miss something here? No, like Ramsey's not first. Yeah. Okay, so the game's obviously glitched out a little bit. So we'll see what the order says at the end. But yeah, Ramsey did not win that race. Morris won the race with a fantastic drive after the safety car. Gourd just missed out. And yeah, so much going on at the end. I was never going to capture all of it. But you got to see that little top shootout there between the top three. Moist unlucky in the end not to actually get further. And yeah, great drive from Morris. Let's just skip this podium because that is nonsense. So I believe the order is, and unfortunately, yeah, there's a bit of a glitch. I think Morris won this race. So Morris first. Moist, I think, did come second in the end because Demir had a penalty. So that penalty we spoke about really cost him, unfortunately. So Moist in second, Demir third. I think Victor fourth. Then I think it was potentially Ramsey fifth. But don't quote me on that. And then from there, Rusty, Highscrad, Timgra, great recovery from him into 8th. Sheroshaft 9th. Femi 10th. What a shame. I'm not sure what happened at the chicane. I think there were just too many cars fighting aggressively, and he, as the slightly slower driver, I think just not enough room was maybe given, and it's very unfortunate. Finishes 10th, though, just behind his old teammate Cher. Ace 11th. Gourd 12th. He's going to be so disappointed if that's actually the time he set. Like, guys, is that actually what happened? Like, did I miss something with Gourd? Because I thought Gourd was much higher up. I don't know. Gourd 12th, Bass 13th, Bart 14th, Bronco 15th, Heck 16th, Justin 17th, Robsu apparently 18th, Jesper 19th. But yeah, all the results are glitched here, guys. So I think what we'll do is when we upload this race onto YouTube, we'll have to just clip the ending, the actual ending order on the game, because that was your true order. But either way, a great drive from Morris and Moist. You know, those two definitely the standout drivers for me. Did really, really well. And it was actually a really exciting race, just too many safety cars, but it is what it is. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed that race. Stay tuned. I think in 40 minutes time, the Tier 2 event will begin. There should be commentators available for that one. And otherwise, your commentator today for Tier 1 was Lucas Aid. And I should be around next weekend, same time, same place, for round 5 of Tier 1. Please, thank you very much for joining. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and a great week to come. Thanks a lot.